Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Make yourself comfortable. Go pop some popcorn or go get a chocolate cake or whatever floats your boat, because Holy Smokin' Pipe Padre is coming back at you with a very special box opening. That's right. But first, le housekeeping. Gosh, that's good. Okay. So those of you who like spicy things, we have some Carolina Red Flake in the house, folks. Carolina Red Flake. There you go. Okay? With that perique in there. My goodness. If you like spicy things, if you like Tabasco sauce, I'm just saying, this is probably right up your alley. I mean, if you like that spicy tobacco flavor, this really will set you going. Now, it's not spicy hot, but it just has a really it's got, maybe that burley kind of a flavor to it. A little more robust, kind of like a dark coffee. Take it from Papa Bear, he knows. So today we have a very special box opening, but first I want to just say that we have been experiencing a lot of beautiful thunderstorms the last few days. Yeah, a lot of beautiful thunderstorms. In fact, I'm going to do something I probably don't do normally, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to kind of take a little bit of a picture from where I'm sitting, and you can kind of see that, yes, indeed, we've got these beautiful thunderstorms. That's right. And so last week, let's see if I can get that a little bit more. Yeah. Oh, it's beautiful. Beautiful, 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 beautiful thunderstorms. Rain, just beautiful stuff. Just beautiful. Can't go wrong with thunderstorms, okay? Hopefully that'll work. Yeah. So, just wanted to share that with you. Okay, so, I want to get a little bit more of that perique in me. And I'm smoking my squashed tomato, my Dunhill squashed tomato, which I love this pipe. I really, I like the way it feels. I like the way it smokes. I like the way it looks, even though some people I've had some people just tell me that for some reason this pipe just is not something they don't really care this much about this pipe. But it's one of my favorite pipes, I have to say. And when I'm in one of those more reflective moments, perhaps, or one of those more creative kind of, those moments where you're kind of, something creative is kind of brewing. For me, maybe it's like a writer's pipe. I don't know. And we got our Dr. Cave microphone back in the house too. I really like this little microphone. I tried using two SM7B mics last time to get kind of a stereo effect, and I guess that worked out pretty good. It actually did work, but a little bit more of a setup because you have to use special XLR adapters to plug into the iPad there. I'm using my iPad Pro 12.9 inch. Not my virtual Vision, my Virtual Pro. Is it Virtual Pro or Vision Pro? I think it's Vision Pro. The new Vision Pro glasses. I been watching. Let me just kind of tell you what. Let's do the box opening now. Okay, we'll do the box opening now. I think the camera's right there. I wish they had on the iPhone. They do have like a little, when you're filming on the iPhone, they'll have like a little green light, and for some reason it doesn't have it on this one here, and it's just kind of hard. Sometimes I'll put a little thing out here behind me as a focus point, and so I just have to learn just to focus on the edge here, because that's where the camera's at. Now again, the newer iPads have the camera in the center now, but I'm not going to go out and buy a brand new iPad just for that. So, but I do like the new iPads with the new Final Cut Pro. I'll probably be using Final Cut Pro on the iPad to edit this video a little bit later. So, okay. That being said, let's get to this nice box opening. Now, I want to protect the person's their anonymity for the most part. I'll just say their first name. I think that'll be okay. James is their first name, and I believe he comments on both my channels from time to time. Always has good comments and very thoughtful comments, and so he seems to like the old Padres content for the most part, and and every now and then, like I said, he has some thought-provoking ideas or things he shares, and in fact, I'll probably talk to one of his comments that he made, and in regards to something I watched this morning, which I was like, but we'll talk about that later. Yeah. Okay, so let me without further ado, let me take this beautiful squash tomato. I haven't had anything to eat all day, and it's almost 2 o'clock, and I got to say, I want a real little health update. I'm just happy as a clam. My back has completely healed up. when you're dealing with chronic pain, and those of you who are dealing with chronic pain today, my heart goes out to you. I'll throw some extra prayers out to all of you who are kind of, going through it. So I'm very grateful. I'm very grateful to the good Lord that He saw fit to do another bout of healing in me. I don't deserve it, that's for sure, but I got to say that I'm just so grateful. I mean, I even, I'm not running miles, but I am running. I started actually running about 3 weeks ago, doing just little interval runnings, which I like to do, and most of the health professionals that I watch, they basically say that when you get to a certain age like me, that if you do just a little bit goes a long way without risking injury. So I'm just so excited about that, and so I'm very grateful. So anyway, so I kind of again digress just a little bit, but I just wanted to give you a little update on that. Okay, so let me move my Papa Bear mug. Oh, that's good. Okay, so this box comes from a young guy named James, and so I'm just gonna. I think the last box opening I did. Let me just show you the box. I won't show you any addresses, of course, but I think the last box opening I did was about 3 weeks ago. Because I was opening up my new iPad Pro, getting ready for the advent of Final Cut Pro on the iPad. So that's what I did. So let's see if I can open this here. My goodness, it's well sealed, I will say that. Okay. So okay. Get the old knife to kind of slide in. Okay, going that way. Okay. All right, that's one side. Okay. Alrighty. And now the other side. Okay. Probably can hear some of that. There we go. That's a good slice there. Okay. And then this one here. I want to make sure I get I want to make sure I don't lose that. I want to send a thank you card. So okay, thank you, James. Again, we're gonna kind of feel like I'm doing surgery here, kind of like Dr. Cave. Of course, he's a anesthesiologist. Oh, sorry about that. Did I mess up that camera? Okay, let's see here. Okay, so So James, I don't know if you put this together. I mean, sealed it all up, but it was certainly watertight. I think you could have probably floated it. Alrighty, so my goodness, we have got these wonderful little air pouches. You never know when you might need these things, believe it or not. Okay, oh my goodness, hey, oh wow. Now I don't know if I should share this because it kind of would reveal a location, but it is it's a law enforcement badge, a patch, and it's a very famous county. That's all I should say. And I'm very honored to have this patch. So thank you, James. Again, I'm just a little hesitant to reveal anything that might give away a location. So, but very, very, very meaningful. It's sort of like military patches. You know, when you're your special unit patch. You know, I was with 135 Armor when I was in the military as a chaplain. And we were stationed in Baumholder, and so if you saw the old Ironsides patch, you knew where you were pretty much from. Okay, so it looks like, oh my gosh, oh and this is one of my favorites. I don't have anything on this. Chocolate cream. I love this chocolate cream. I had a bag of it about probably 10 years ago, but I smoked it all up and I never got any more. But the Boswell's chocolate cream, it's like almost all of their blends. They really do. You can really taste these flavors in the smoke, in the tobacco. And chocolate cream was one of my absolute favorites. It's right up there. I think with Northwoods, yeah. And Christmas cookie. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, and I know I've said this before, and people probably get tired of hearing me say it, but you can't go wrong with a Boswell's blend. You just can't. And if you cellar them properly, they will last for a long time. So, James, thank you. Chocolate cream, awesome. Okay, we got another. It's almost like I think. Oh my goodness. Okay, it's another Boswell's. This is Boswell's Best. Now, I've never had this one before, but this is their aromatic sampler. So that's wonderful. Boswell's Best. I'm going to have to check that one out, but man. And even get your little Boswell's box of matches there, right there. Yeah. All right. It's like Christmas. Thank you, James. Okay, we've got another. It's almost like I've been on a desert island all this time, because I haven't really. This must be. This is an English sampler, and it is Imperial English. Now that I am intrigued. I definitely want to check that one out for sure. Wow, that's awesome. Awesome. Okay, and we've got another. Okay, awesome. An autumn sampler. Yep, I actually have one of these that I got about 3 or 4 years ago, but an autumn sampler, and this has I think it has all the kind of the spicier, not hot spice. Oh yeah, that is that's heaven on earth right there, folks. Oh my goodness. I'm kind of getting a little early autumn here. I mean, we are so blessed right now, I got to be honest with you, even though it's still kind of almost mid-June. Normally this time of year, we're kind of dry as a bone. In the last 3 years, because of the drought, it's been, kind of really precarious. But every day this week and even a little bit last week, we were getting these wonderful, delicious, thunderstorms in the afternoon. We're going through another one right now, and it just every little bit of moisture. We had a long winter. Winter's past now, but the any bit of moisture we get now is going to be a little bit more of a safeguard for the fire season. Hopefully, it won't be as calamitous or as dangerous as it has been the last 3 years. Okay, we have another. This is like the airdrop that just keeps on giving. Okay, Majestic. This is their holiday sampler. We had autumn sampler, now holiday sampler. Thank you again, James. Oh boy, my goodness! After getting this package, I'm almost tempted to have a. See, I only usually smoke my pipes when I make videos. And I know I've been making a few more extra videos lately. I know I was kind of limiting it to like once or twice a month. But now it seems like for a lot of you, it's every week now. Just when you thought it was safe to go back on YouTube, and there this grizzled old prospector guy is back again. Or I call myself Father Sasquatch when I got the beard. Father Sasquatch, yeah. Okay, we have one more. And this one here, another, oh my goodness, what is this? Oh, the Berry Best Sampler. And this has got cherry, vanilla, and some other berry flavored, let me do it this way, berry flavored tobaccos. And I love raspberries. And there was a blend at the Briar Patch, rest in peace, Briar Patch, that had a black raspberry flavor, which I really did love. And it had a nice flavor, it had a nice aroma to it as well. So, oh my gosh, I'm telling you, I might be more tempted just to enjoy smoking a daily pipe. I mean, I did that several years ago when I was back in Elk Grove. When I was getting into the pipe channel, I felt like, and I don't want to say, again, I was getting addicted, but I was kind of doing the daily pipe. And although I don't think there's probably anything wrong with that, certainly I think that just for me, I was kind of going, well, as much as I like my pipes and I enjoy, sometimes I was kind of like reaching for just to kind of almost scratch that nicotine itch, that you kind of get to that point there. So, James, I can't thank you enough for your thoughtfulness and kindness, and I appreciate you and your comments and on the videos and everything. So I hope you're having a great day today. You made my day today for sure, so thank you so much. Wow, now, boy, I got to tell you, I'd like to start tearing into some of those bags and start smoking some of these things here right now. I mean, it's like Christmas morning, yeah, all right. Boy, that's good. That is awesome. So, yeah, you can see it's turning colors. I like that. I know it's a kid thing. I know, I'm a big kid. Wow, that's good. Yep, this North Carolina, is it North Carolina? It's just Carolina Red Flake, not Carolina Reaper. Although there's kind of some similarities there. I was going to ask James a real quick question, James, if you're watching. I wonder if Boswell's does like a spicy blend of tobaccos. Kind of like these Carolina, the more stout kind of things. I know you have a bag of English in there, English sampler, which is I can't wait to get into that. All of those are just excellent choices, by the way. But there are some samplers. There are some tobaccos that are clearly, they're not for the faint of heart. Again, things like, I think Nightcap. I think that was a Dunhill blend, I think. Nightcap, or was it a Peterson blend? let's see, pirate cake, good old pirate cake, one of my all-time favorites. I still have some of that. But I remember a few people felt that I kind of misled them. Well, maybe not misled them, but I led them down a road that almost caused a divorce in one family, because the guy goes, "Fine." I fired that up. My wife came upstairs and said, "Absolutely not in this house. Get that stinky stuff out of here." but it tastes good. But anyway, so I'm wondering if Boswell's has like a spicy sampler, some of the more pungenty, spicier tobaccos. I don't know. Boy, that's good. Okay, so again, thanks, James, for your thoughtfulness, and I really do appreciate your taking the time to send me these beautiful Boswell blends, and I'm definitely looking forward to opening them up and getting some really delicious samples going on here. Now that the weather's really, really nice outside, and probably just would be really great to sit on my veranda, my deck out there, and just kind of just enjoy a nice pipe from time to time, a little bit more occasionally than I do when I just make videos. Okay, so all right, okay. So I guess the thing I was just going to talk about just briefly, and then I'll probably bring this little box opening to a close. Get back upstairs and enjoy kind of putting it together on Final Cut Pro. Probably a real simple video this time. I like when I see movies that are, and James had mentioned a movie that he saw, I think about an exorcism or demon possession or something like that. I forgot the name of it, but I've heard of it, and I might watch it. He said it was actually quite good. So, but there was another video that I really want. I'm not going to mention any names because I just don't want to go into that right now. But apparently I thought this was going to be an excellent video. And when I say excellent, especially when it comes to certain things, I want to be inspired. And, I think I saw a movie last week, which was very entertaining, although it was obviously it was quite a fantasy movie. It was kind of on the lines of John Wick, but it was this movie called Sisu or whatever, about this Finnish prospector guy who encounters some Nazis, and let's just say the Nazis don't fare very well, okay? So anyway, complete fiction, very violent, but it's sort of like one of those revenge kind of movies. Kind of. I mean, it wasn't like it didn't have all the high drama of a story that really, you kind of really get invested in the character, and a lot of issues maybe come up and make it a very interesting tapestry, character development, that kind of stuff. But it was just simply this guy found some gold during the end of World War II. The Nazis encounter him, and they try to basically take his gold, and basically he says not only no, but hell no. And that's basically the plot, the outline of the movie. You don't need to know anything more than that. And but some movies, I kind of want to be, especially if they're kind of being billed as I'll just say a religious film, or have kind of a religious faith-based kind of a thing. I'm hoping that I'm going to learn something about the characters or character in question, and it's going to inspire me. And talk about a letdown. Talk about a real letdown. I watched this movie, and I was really looking forward to it. And I kind of thought, well, and I was a bit hesitant, and I know why. But I was thinking, well, it's either going to be really great or it's going to be really bad. And it was basically the latter. And I'm just so disappointed. there was just the story just was pieced together. I'm even wondering how the character in the movie really, because they had just a lot of political stuff in the forefront, and this character was kind of in the background. You saw him doing his thing, but for the most part, it just wasn't. It did not inspire at all. And I really, when I first heard about this movie, I thought, man, this is going to be really excellent. How can you mess up? It's almost like some people say, how can you mess up a filet mignon steak? Okay, you really have to go out of your way to mess up a good steak. And this is kind of what they did. I don't know what they were thinking. I don't know. It was like, wow, I wasted almost 2 hours watching this video. And, I've watched a lot of good videos or movies over the years, and some of them have been absolutely inspiring, and they really, encourage you. You think, man, and you're not. Now again, some people say, well, that's all sentimentality. This was showing the real grittiness of, this person's life, and I'm thinking, it's like when I was used to go to AA meetings, and people would go on and they kind of regale themselves with their past drinking, and sometimes people stop people like that and say, you know what? We don't need to hear stories about your drinking life. We know how to drink. We know the misery in that. Tell us your recovery story. Tell us your sobriety story. How did you get sober? How did you stop drinking? That's what we want to hear. We know all about the gritty stuff. You don't need to embellish that. And I felt that that's kind of what this movie was more about. Was, we want to make this person down to earth and earthy and real. And no, I'm sorry. You left me cold, uninspired, very little imagination. If you wanted to talk about the political struggle at the time of this movie was made, well, okay, that probably would have been a little bit better. Now, I've seen really good movies about Pope John Paul II in recent years, some absolutely excellent videos, and they didn't pull back on the harsher topics, but they folded them in like a nice souffle. It's like, okay, yeah, this is part of it. In other words, saints' lives are not perfect. I know that. When every sinner, there's a possibility of a saint, a story of a saint coming through. But if all you do is just make them is mundane and is banal, and just kind of like there's nothing, inspirational about this person, then why bother? That's what I felt. So very much let down. I was very sad. I was kind of like, oh man, that was go out and cut my wrist now. I feel so happy. It's like, wow, that's all they can say about this person, man. And I know that in the last 40 years, maybe 50 years, the church has really tried to step away from what they call hagiography, the writings of the saints, In other words, because a lot of the writings of the saints were, now maybe some people would say, well, they were all fictitious or they were highly embellished. Well, I was hoping that we were going to see something miraculous and supernatural, and, didn't really see that. Just kind of, I probably would rather watch the newest Indiana Jones movie, which I hear is a real, plopper. And I just thought, well, I would hope that next time somebody, and again, I don't know if these people that were making this movie about the life of this person, if they were people of faith. I kind of think that they were just more historically based. And I just felt like, well, you know what, that just, it's, I usually say sometimes, like if it's a fun movie, kind of like that Sishu, or Zishu, whatever that is, the Finnish name, that's a good popcorn movie. You can really enjoy that. You can get into it. Yeah, suspend a little bit of, it's all make believe. It's all fantasy, but it's pretty well done. Critical Drinker actually had a review of it this morning, and I was wondering, well, what is he going to think of this movie? And he was like, glowing, like, hey man, this is a good movie. Go watch it. It's fun, and it's just a fun movie. And yeah, you have to suspend a little bit of natural belief for a little bit to kind of get into it. But once you kind of say, yeah, it's make believe, it's fun, it's fiction, it's okay. But some movies are excellent. You know, they can really make you. I mean, it's good to be challenged in some things. I'm not saying, you know, I want to see some fantasy. I want to see a real life movie that presents. But it does have. It's not afraid of the maybe the supernatural or the faith perspective, you know. But you know, it's like I don't need like a forensic treatment of a saint or of a religious theme, you know. Anyway, so that's kind of what happened today to me today. I was kind of thinking, well, I'm going to make the box opening and share the enjoyment of that, which I did. And thank you again, James. But this earlier this morning, as I thought, well, I have a few minutes or a little bit, about an hour or so to kind of kill. I'll kind of go ahead and watch this movie or this video. And it was like, yeah, you know, anyway, it was. I mean, I'd rather watch a documentary about Elizabeth Holmes than this movie about this faith-based movie, because I just felt that it was just such a letdown. You know, it's like, well, you know, if I want to know about, you know, humanity at its worst, you know, I can watch again a documentary about Elizabeth Holmes or Ted Kaczynski or somebody like that, Jeffrey Dahmer. You know, like, okay, I probably would have been more inspired. I'm probably a little more inspired by watching documentaries about Elizabeth Holmes. I guess she's now, I think she's in a prison in Texas now. So, yeah. So, God bless her. But she'll be there for a few years. It's, you know, and I guess I'll go ahead and end on this story. You know, talking about stories that kind of inspire. I mean, and I think that's probably something, you know, when you watch the early stages of this young woman's life, on one hand, and again, I know that, you know, she's sort of like, who was it? Bernie Madoff kind of, you know, like, you know, they were fraud, you know, she got sent to prison for defrauding the investors. But I want to believe, now again, maybe I'm totally naive, but I kind of want to believe, at least in the very early stages, this woman really was and really believed that she was on that cutting edge of finding this new way of doing, blood testing, you know. And, you know, wouldn't it be cool if that was true? Now, apparently, I saw another documentary about this a couple of years ago, about a year ago, actually, that there was a new company that has actually, they claim that they do have the ability now to use 1 or 2 drops of blood, maybe a little bit more than that, to do analysis, you know. So, you know, God bless them. Again, sometimes people have to have a vision, and maybe it doesn't, you know, fully come true. But, you know, I mean, you know, again, now I'm not trying to exonerate this lady, or I'm not trying to acquit her. I'm not trying to say, oh, they were wrong. No. But in the early stages, when her idea was, I think, innocent and noble, you know, I think she really believed that she was, you know, maybe she knew that the technology was not right there at that moment, but the vision was clear in her head. This was the vision we want to get to, okay? And I think she probably in the beginning was led to believe. Now, this is part of the problem, is that she was not a real engineer. She dropped out of Stanford, and instead of maybe going through and getting her degree, or getting either, you know, at least some kind of a medical background to where she could probably be a little bit more savvy and kind of say, that ain't going to work. Or because I think what happened was that she was, in her own ways, very naive in some regards, and because she didn't have the real background to be able to be discerning. Say, okay, I know that this is possible, or I know that this is completely impossible with the technology that we have today. And again, the fake it till you make it thing with Elizabeth Holmes, she thought, well, look, you know, a lot of the people in Silicon Valley, and I think that was the problem. The problem was that if she was just making semiconductors, right, she was just doing, motherboards and logic boards for computers, you know, a lot of people look at the VR stuff. Now that Apple's kind of jumped into it, the early VR stuff was kind of clunky. It's still clunky. Hi, I'm talking to you, my neighbor down the street here. What's his name? Zuckerberg. Yeah, he actually lives a mile down the road here. Kid you not. I'm not name dropping to be. I don't know the man. I've never met him. I probably never will meet him. I have some of my workers that are coming and they're doing a kitchen remodel, and they actually had encounters with him, and the stories that I've heard were not positive. Let's just say that. Okay, but yeah. So these people in Silicon Valley, fake it till you make it, and if she had not, had it not, was so critical to healthcare and individuals, diagnoses, early diagnosis of things, and that's where I think it really went from like, so what if you make a bad headset or you make a bad iPhone? Who cares? We'll go buy something else if yours is a piece of junk. But people's lives were being put on the line with the faulty diagnostic equipment that she purportedly thought she had it all figured out. And, again, I think, like I said, in the early stages, I think there was something inspiring about Elizabeth Holmes, because I think she really, in the beginning, she believed that this technology was just around the corner. She was just, her idea was just a little bit ahead of where the technology was, but she was going to bring that technology to meet that ideal. And I thought, well, God bless her, I mean, how many of us would love to be able to have cheap, inexpensive, affordable, access to blood analysis, diagnostics like that, because they're expensive. And I do think that the idea is if you can have much more frequent analysis done, diagnostics done, blood chem panels done, yeah, you probably could. And her whole goal was, okay, if I can give people the ability to have a very low cost way of, getting these tests done on a regular basis, you probably could, with all likelihood, at least be able to diagnose possible serious things way in advance, or at least advance enough to where you could still treat it effectively. So there's nothing wrong with that vision, not at all. The problem is, yes, she realized that probably she was out of her depth, okay? And that's why if she had just stayed in college for another 3 years, got an engineering degree. This guy that I really like, Dr. Cave, he was actually an engineer before he became a doctor and anesthesiologist. Highly intelligent guy, very personable to be sure, but he's not a dummy. So he knows what he's talking about, and because he has a science and an engineering background. So anyway, but had Elizabeth gotten those degrees, I think, one, it would have protected her. She would have had the knowledge that she really needed to do this, and then it could have maybe reshaped to where she could have brought to market an actual diagnostic new protocol that would have been really, really super beneficial to people, and it would have been safe and effective. So she cut corners. And unfortunately, that's what happens when you cut corners. So, yeah. Okay. I think I'm going to make this one a little bit shorter than my normal ones, because I just want to do this wonderful box opening from James. Again, thank you, James. And to all of you, again, it's like I like to say from time to time. Light up your world and light up your pipe. Okay. We'll see you in the next one.